Emotional eating is innate, it's natural, and guess what? It's what makes us human. We are emotional beings, and since birth, we have been conditioned to regulate our emotions with food. So if a client tells me that they're an emotional eater, one of the first things I think is, that's great, because the contrary to emotional eating would be eating with no emotion. Eating where we feel withdrawn and disembodied and completely disconnected. Do you really want to be an unemotional eater and remove all of the fulfillment and pleasure and enjoyment from food? Hello everybody, if you're new to our channel, welcome. My name is Sarah. I'm a personal trainer and holistic nutritionist specializing in the psychology of eating. Eating with emotion can be wonderful, and of course it certainly can become problematic when we overdo it. But think about holidays and think about birthdays and think about going on nice romantic dates. When we eat and indulge and share the experience with others, we tend to feel very connected and full. Eating engages all of our senses, and it can be exciting and engaging and fun, and it can also be comforting and soothing, and in some instances it can also be distracting. Food can be a symbolic substitute for just about anything. For some, it could be a replacement for sex, intimacy, and pleasure or connection. And as I mentioned, it can also be an excellent distraction. Distraction is typically where we tend to disconnect, and this is oftentimes where we tend to overdo it. We disconnect from the real emotion that's inside of us that is actually driving us to eat. For example, if someone is having a hard time digesting a certain life experience, so maybe it's a past trauma, feelings of grief, shame, betrayal, deciding to focus on food and obsessing over food, weight, shape, body, appetite can be an easy alternative focal point. And in fact, it's a very common one. What this can mean is whatever may be going on in our personal world, our mind can draw our attention towards weight, shape, appetite to try and get our attention to reveal an underlying lesson or an underlying emotion. Only we are so freaking preoccupied with weight, shape, food, eating, appetite that we totally miss it, and we think that we have a food problem or we think that we have a willpower problem, and then we go at war against ourselves trying to control it. And if we do this long enough, this can, in fact, create a damaging relationship with food and appetite, especially if we start to shame ourselves for regulating our emotions with food. It is a very human and normal response to use food to regulate your emotions. Sometimes we want to escape, and food is one of the most easily accessible things to help you do so. The brain knows that food is going to make you feel good. The brain knows that food is pleasurable. We all have a very unique and profound relationship with food that can be very complicated. However, this relationship also can carry some very deep and valuable and beautiful lessons. So what I'm trying to say is that we're all emotional eaters. Many of us do use food to regulate our emotions without even realizing it. It can become problematic when we overdo it, and oftentimes this is the case when there's something deeper going on. But because we're so used to focusing on food, we truly do believe that food is the issue, and maybe we've been struggling with food for so long at this point that it is a little bit problematic. But I believe that in order to nurture that and heal that relationship, we need to look within and we need to go a little bit deeper. So if you are an emotional eater, I'd like to invite you into this new perspective. I have lived through this myself, and I work with clients who struggle with this every single day. I encourage you to ask yourself, is there something deeper? Journal about it and see what comes out. Maybe there's a story that lives deep inside of you that's actually really wanting to come out and to be heard. I'm gonna leave you guys with that. I hope you found this video helpful. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. And until next time, don't forget to eat, squat, and come.